You want answers?
Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Well, that was a rough start. Let's hear it for mobile live transmission upload during SHTF 0 Dark 30. And that's what it is, folks. It's 0 Dark 30. Welcome back. I'm John, the host with the most something. Sheesh. I don't know what's going on, but I will tell you, folks, it's the blame game. Whose fault was that? Was that mine? Was that StreamYard? Was that Google? Right? No one wants to take the blame. I tell you what, well, before we get into it, have you noticed that terrorists love to take the blame when they fuck everyone else's worlds up? It's an interesting thing if you think about it, because if you look at what's going on in Russia, which is Russia, folks, it's now a Russian Federation state, the former Ukraine territories that voted to get the hell out of Ukraine. Russians had to come in and save people from slaughter, from directed genocidal attacks by Ukraine Azov Nazi battalions. Yeah, it's one heck of a world, folks. One heck of a world. So, what am I talking about there? Well, the Zaporizhia power plant, nuclear power plant, largest nuclear power plant in Europe. It's considered Europe, I guess, even though now I guess Russia's in Europe. Eastern Europe, well, the power's out. Power out. Power out. Power out. Russia's blaming Ukraine. Ukraine is blaming Russia. Who's at fault? I'd like to know. What I find interesting is terrorists will accept the blame when they fuck things up for other people. They like it. They think that's great. Well, here, right, they don't want to do that in this case. Who is to blame, folks? Who wants pain and suffering? Right? If you look at all the instances we have, who wants the war? Well, Russia's saying they want peace. Okay? While they occupy territory that says they want to be a part of the Russian Federation, not part of Ukraine. They say, let's negotiate, let's talk peace. Well, it's Ukraine that wants war. The U.S. wants war, Ukraine wants war. Voldemort Zelensky will not give up under any circumstance, even though last year or several months ago he started saying, yeah, I think it's time to start negotiating for peace. And he had his line reeled in real fast. Who gets the blame if the power is going out at the power plant? Who knows what they're doing in the world of nuclear power? Do you think the Russians know something about nuclear power? Well, they might, right? Considering they have nuclear weapons, considering they have nuclear power plants, considering they have nuclear fuel enrichment, they have nuclear power plant designs. They've had nuclear-powered submarine and ships for decades and decades and decades. Yeah, they seem to know what they're doing when it comes to nuclear power. When it comes to Ukraine, what are they good at? Well, they're good at, oh yeah, they're good at corruption. That's what they're good at. No one's better than them because they literally are the most corrupt country on the planet. That's taking into account all of the Asian countries, all of the African countries, all of the South American countries. That's even taking into account the United States of America, which is in and of itself turning into a shitball banana republic with Democrats and the World Economic Forum at the helm. And they're doing it intentionally. They won't take the blame, folks. They'll just keep pushing for it and let little groups like, BLM, Antifa, let them take they'll let the Democrats take the blame. Now they're starting to let the GOP, Republican Party, take the blame. But we know who the real players are. It is the uber rich and the uber wealthy. I don't know, at the Richmond, north of Richmond. That song is very popular because it's striking a chord with people. The blame game, though. Right? Who's to blame for all this shit? Is it getting better? No, it's not. So you can't say it's an accident. People in charge of fixed things, nothing's being fixed. Nothing is being fixed. But there's one more little thing I want to share with you guys. Who's to blame? Well, there's a very small town in Minnesota, where the police chief and the policemen, they wanted better pay. And so they told the city council they want better pay. City council told them no. Kind of a Andy Griffith, Mayberry type story here. Right? Well, the police chief quit, and so did the policeman. I imagine they only had 2, 3, 4. I didn't even look, to find out how many police these guys had. Maybe 5 or 6. Because police have to be on duty, someone 24/7. No one gets a break. Well, that's interesting, though, folks. They just quit. They quit. Now, who gets the blame if something goes wrong? There's no police there. Bad things happen. Who gets the blame? Is it the police for quitting? They're being greedy. They want too much money. City's broke. They don't have enough money. Who's to blame? Big question. Is it the police for being greedy? Now, I imagine if they're the police and that's how they make a living, then they're going to have to leave town because they don't have jobs. Or are the police going to go get jobs down at the local supermarket, at the lumberyard? Where are they going to go make a living at? Just like everyone else has to go make a living. Now, that's a good question. But who's to blame? Is it city council? They're looking at the books, looking at the records, saying, hey, we don't have enough money for this. We're broke. We are broke. We don't have money to keep giving money out, more money to these police. Everyone else has to struggle to get by. Are these policemen getting by and wanting to get fat and sassy on this money? What's going on here? Or is the city council, greedy? They got all kinds of money and they're not wanting to spend it. They're wanting to save it and make everyone do with less. They've already got the budget fixed, and now they want the rest of the city to learn to do the same. Is the city council to blame? What if, shit hits the fan and you got people coming through town with signs and banners, bullhorns and baseball bats, and they start beating the shit out of cars, windows, terrorizing the people? Who's to blame then? City council? Who's to blame? The policemen who quit? Right? Terrorists love to take credit for stuff, right? Other people like to put the blame on someone else because they have something to gain from it. Well, I'll tell you what, who's to blame is us, the people. Because we trusted in institutions that are known to be corrupt. Now, it's our fault. We let it happen. We allowed it to happen. We weren't willing to stand up and literally take matters into our own hands and violate the so-called law in order to correct injustice and stupidity and avarice. And that's what the police are. They're avarice. Government is corruption. And people are stupid. Yet the anger of the people is expressed through the enforcement of its laws. The stupidity, right, is enforced or demonstrated through the people's ignorance of what the hell is going on. And government thievery, that's your corruption. Put a big pile of money in front of somebody who didn't earn it, tell them to do something good with it. Oh, they'll do something good with it. And here we are, folks. Shit has hit the fan. What's next? Literally, what is next? It's just going to get worse. It is, and who's to blame? Bank collapses are coming right now. Government's credit rating has been downgraded. The world's richest, most powerful country can't even balance a frickin' checkbook. Well, there's a price to pay for that. Who's to blame? Government, police, or us, we the people? That's what happens when you have an organization so big, so powerful, so wealthy, like the U.S. government in D.C., that it can arm itself and protect itself from those trying to stop it from destroying us all. We're to blame, folks. Collectively, you bet. Individually, if I don't have power, to fix it individually, then I don't have to accept the blame individually. But collectively, I do, and that's where culture, tradition, and morality come into play. If we failed at maintaining culture, a good culture, a moral culture, with strong traditions and decency and accountability, this is what happens. We are to blame ultimately for what we are going to have to suffer. What can you do individually? Well, you can get prepared. Go to thepreparedmind.club. Right? That's it. Get prepared, folks. Buckle up. Hang on. And if you feel so inclined, get a bucket of popcorn and watch the shit go. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed, Semper Fi.